Man said his own name. Oh shit. You know you're gonna speak that. Right, guys, we are live. Grown Arse Men in the building. Make some noise. And let's get some energy in there, guys. Let's get some energy.
I'm trying to do a beat.
Alright, G, don't do no more beats. Right, before we actually start, everyone knows what we have to do. We have to introduce the people that we got in the building today. So, Sweet Boy shirt open today, no V-neck.
Open, you know, easy enough.
Malak.
Rakes, what's going on?
Famous point, man.
Wait.
Next man inside.
Yeah, it's the Pan-African Dwayne United.
That's not an African drink. I don't know where that drink
Alright, next man we got.
No, there's no one else could I drink, you know. No one else. Nick Clark.
Yeah, man. Also me, Mr. D, Darren.
AKA Kappa. Yeah.
G-Banks in the building.
And obviously you got myself, the host who you can't see, John C. Let's keep it going. Right. Today, the topic for today is... them pauses there, yeah? Right, the topic for today is Philippine Martial Law. Kill all drugs, man. Yeah, kill all the drugs dealers. Basically, let me just try and break it down before we obviously go into topic, right? You've got the president, whose surname I can't pronounce, so his name's President Rodrigo, yeah?
Duterte.
Shout out to Rodrigo. Basically, he wants to enforce martial law, or is threatening to enforce martial law.
No.
It's in effect, bro.
It's in force.
It's not official.
It's not official.
He's just doing his thing.
He's threatening to enforce martial law. Yeah. And basically what that is basically he's kind of put out there already that if you see or know of anyone who is dealing drugs, you tell them to hand themselves in, and if they don't, basically shoot to kill. We need to get them off the streets. So what we want to try and find out today is the people's views on this. Just a few facts that I want to kind of put out there, first and foremost, is since this has come into effect, and when I say come into effect, it's not official, but he's put the word out there. Since it's come into effect, in the last 6 months, there's been 6,000 people who have been dealing drugs handing themselves in. Yeah? And at the same time, I believe, if I'm not wrong, there's been 2,000 deaths.
Up to 6,000.
Up to 6,000. Right, excuse me. Yeah, up to 6,000 deaths.
So that's 12,000 drug dealers off the streets, basically.
Cleansing.
So is that, basically, I want to put it out there to you guys, is that a positive?
No.
What are you saying, B? Talk to me. No. I'm going to put it to you.
Is it a positive? You're always going to have casualties of war. That's my feeling. Yeah?
Wow.
Whenever there's war, there's always going to be casualties.
Wow.
It's a harsh reality and it's sad, but if you're looking to cleanse your society of drugs, then we're going to have to accept, or they're going to have to accept that it's just, there's going to be some casualties. And it seems to be working. Like I said, 12,000 people take it off the streets, drug dealers. That's less people going to be affected. Less families, less families going to be affected by crackhead babies. All of these things come into play. So
what about the innocent people that are getting there? You don't know who you like. If you start doing that, and anyone can install on the law and say, okay, you know what, we think that person's a drug dealer, we can shoot it. Where does the line stop? Yeah. Come on, man.
It's a bit nuts. Don't get me wrong. It's extremely. Extreme. Like, it's extreme. Yeah, that's the word for real. I was looking for that word. Extreme. But I can see this having a positive effect on the country.
Long term, I don't agree with it, first and foremost.
Yeah, it's not.
But I do think in the long term it can probably will have a positive effect on their country. The only thing is that throws me a little bit is that, if I'm not mistaken, they're dealing with users as well. It ain't just drug dealers.
That's where it's wrong.
They're taking out users. If you're a user, they are taking you out.
Yeah. Taking out dealers is one thing, and I'm not saying it's right, but I get it, and I don't think he's that bad for doing it. But to take out all users is nuts. Like you can't kill a man because he's got an addiction.
Like that's
But
craziness.
it's listen, let me tell you something, right? The thing is, everyone
You're saying that's his choice.
No, I'm gonna say is that you lot can't be mad at the drug dealers, and if you also be mad, the people that are taking the drugs. It was their choice to take the drugs in the first place. Like, people have to take responsibility for your actions.
Help them then.
Go to Amsterdam.
Help them get off the drugs. Don't kill them.
So what you're saying? You're saying that the drug users are just as much to blame as the drug dealers.
Yes, and so I think everyone needs to
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
They decide to take it. You choose that, innit?
I would agree with what
grown-ass
Jesse
adult.
said,
Because at the end of the day, like to get on the drugs, you have to first take it, innit?
Yeah,
And that's a choice initially.
And
You might get hooked, but you have to make that first step into taking drugs.
Yeah.
So I
And
agree
that's
with
it. And to
you.
be honest with you, I think most drug dealers, they're just entrepreneurs that are misunderstood. So it's like, why are you going to sit there and assassinate a bunch of entrepreneurs? Like, it's the truth, man. At the end of the day, it's like...
They're not misunderstood.
All right, let me take you to the stream, and I've had a couple of comments coming through. One, obviously people don't join in right from the beginning sometimes, so throughout it, I'm going to actually try. Thanks to Michelle McLean, who's actually said, can you just highlight what the topic is? And we're talking about martial law in the Philippines, basically getting drug dealers off the streets almost by any means necessary, basically.
And if it would work here as well, I guess.
Was that?
If it would work here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something we definitely have to kind of delve into as well. There is one thing that I want to kind of put to you guys in terms of your thought process. There's been a lot of things said within the news in the Philippines about people using this as an opportunity to settle vendettas that they've got against each
That's the
other.
problem.
Yeah, and there is also there was a lady who's actually now come out who is a named assassin. And she's now earning a living from it. Her name was Maria.
Is that the one with the husband?
Yeah, it's the same one with the husband. Yeah, so basically she's earning £327 a hit. And basically is now making a living. And no, but remember in the Philippines it's all relative. Yeah. So and they're making a living of it and changing their life. Just a couple of ones that I want to read out from the stream. Jane has said, about time something has come into force, take them all down. Yeah,
you know, assassins.
would your views be different if it was your son, your daughter, or family member who was addicted to drugs?
Exactly.
Because they're in danger as well, as Dwayne pointed out earlier. Daniel has said supply and demand.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Carlina said, I think it depends on what drugs it is. If I'm honest with you, I don't think they're going to take drugs. It's not really about stop and search and what have you got? Drugs is drugs, and they just want to clear it off to the streets. Another thing that I just want to kind of throw out there is that it's not the first time that it's happened. If it does come into force, it happened back in the 70s. There was a president that happened, I think it was 1972, and I think that went on for about 9 years.
I'm guessing it helped.
Well, if it helped, it didn't totally eradicate because they're threatening to do it again.
Because obviously, but for me, I haven't obviously read that part, but if they're bringing it again, they must have been happy with the first round of how it went. So I'm guessing it took out a lot of drug dealers and it kept their streets clean for a period of time.
Man, I don't believe, like I said to you before, I don't believe any man should be able to decide whether any other man
On this topic specifically, I agree. I don't think that it's the right thing. However, I can see the positives.
It will deter you though. If you know that using drugs is possibly going to get you shot in the head, you're going to
guess what? But then sooner or later, when does that turn into, oh, you know what, just because you're a certain height, you could end up getting shot in the head? There is no border. You can't determine that. People could turn around and shoot you for any reason they want and say you had drugs. Stick 2 drugs in your pocket. Next thing you know, your whole family...
That is the next thing. How do you prove that was a drug?
That's my point.
Obviously, the government had then got to weigh up. Do you know what? Are we prepared to accept casualties of war? Yeah. In order to rid our society of drugs.
But this is what I'm saying to you. But
because how else do you do that?
Amsterdam, just like they did in The Wire, put everybody in one particular area. Let them do what they want to do in that area. That's what they can do. But they don't want to do that because they don't want to legalize drugs because then they lose out on all the money.
That's what it boils down to, is money.
Right.
That's the point.
Carlin from the stream has said, I'm with G on this one. And Melinda has actually made a point. It said that the police are using automatic weapons, though, meaning that innocent people are caught in the crossfire. I want to put this one to Darren, who just said, like, obviously, war is necessary and casualties. What have you got to say about that?
Casualties of war, casualties are in war is necessary, not the other way.
Not to say that you're encouraging it, but
what I'm saying is, I'm not saying yeah, he's right. He's 100% right. Yeah, it's an unorthodox method, isn't it? And it's something that's going to split and divide people. What I am saying, though, is that I do think it would have the desired effects, which is to rid the society of drugs at the end of the day. And if they are going to do that, then you have to accept that there are going to be casualties of war. Now, I'm not saying that I agree that killing innocent people is right. No, not at all. But if you're looking at the bigger picture, yeah, which at the end of the day is going to save more people's lives than the casualties of war, then
you don't tell me that. I don't know if 12,000 people would have died from drugs between now and the time.
If you're going to have this in play for a number of years, yeah, 100% guaranteed. 12,000 people dying is going to be surpassed by the number of people that die over, say, like 10 years from drugs.
You know what? Any law that allows another person to kill another person shouldn't, because it can always be taken advantage of, just like this couple are doing.
I definitely get it, but from my thing,
You don't know a couple are doing that.
My thing is that I don't know how rife the drugs are in this country. I don't know what drugs are the problem. Yeah, for them to enforce something like that here, I definitely would not be in agreement, because for me, they're just going to target.
Exactly, target whoever you want to target.
Weed is going to get. You're going to get taken.
So that's the next step of the conversation here in terms of applying it to England, to London, to our society.
It can't work for me.
I don't personally think it would work, because there are.
Well, it would work. It would deter people, but I don't agree with it, because it means that they're going to take out randoms, and just blame it on drugs.
But they're doing the same thing in the Philippines.
But I don't know how rife the drug problem is. I don't know what exactly drugs they're targeting. Like, they might not have a problem with weed. I don't know what is over there. So, I mean, I know that here weed is still considered a problem. So they will just target young blackheads and just take you out.
And this is why I'm saying I don't think it would work here, because it wouldn't be a level playing field. Because there are, like, if you go into the working profession, you go into the city, yeah, like, majority of them guys are taking drugs, and it's not weed, yeah, and they go to work and they do their job. Yeah, right. So now, if you're going to be targeting those people as well as the lower class, the weed smokers, then cool. But I don't think I would have.
They always tell you on all of our stockbrokers to die. You remember all of our stockbrokers to die.
I'm simply saying, in for our society, I don't think it will work, because they're not going to target everybody. It's not going to be a level playing field.
And I agree with that, because, like, you look at the States, for example, where they was giving people maximum sentences for 1 gram of crack cocaine, and then someone with 100 grams was getting the same 100 grams of cocaine was getting the same amount of time. Now, obviously, it's the same damn drug, but because the crack cocaine is what the black people were using, they were getting the worst times. Just what I mean.
Well, let me take you to the stream. I've got. I want to give a shout out as well. Shout out to everyone who's shared the video already. If you haven't done so, get clicking. Like I said before, it's just 2 clicks. Help us out with that as well.
Share.
Melinda, yes, Melinda Ashby. Thank you for your contribution so far. I appreciate you actually helping me as well. So, Melinda has said that they said that the children, and again, this relates to the Philippines. They said the children being killed are collateral damage, basically.
It's a horrible term.
Yeah, it is. It's harsh, especially when you're talking about children. Louise Martin has said pharmaceutical. I think she's relating it back to what's the issue in terms of the UK. Pharmaceutical drugs are our biggest problem. Like, half the people I know are on them for depression or anxiety, and doctors are quick to hand them out. I'll put this one to Nick. What's your thoughts on the pharmaceutical drugs issue? Or is there one?
I think there is an issue. That there is a over dependency on it, and I think often these drugs are just placebo drugs that don't actually have an effect. It's just you taking a drug, you believe it's going to have an effect. But I kind of don't want to take it away from what the actual issue is. I think as a whole, I do agree with what's been said so far. It's a very slippery slope in terms of once you kind of give someone a chance to have a lawless killing, kill someone legally, it can turn into anything, and people are going to do it in the name of drugs or cleaning up the streets.
It's like a purge, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm a bit confused as to, and I guess I want clarity from you guys as to, are you saying that it would work, or it's a good thing in the Philippines but not here? I don't.
I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying I can see the positives from it.
So why would you see the positives here? I don't understand the difference between.
I didn't say I couldn't see the positives. I said I wouldn't welcome it.
You're saying you can see the positives because you don't fully understand the issue in the Philippines, and because you feel like you understand the drugs issue here, you feel like you can say that. But
there will be positives here as well. It's just that I wouldn't welcome it.
What positives?
The positives for me are going to be, it's going to take a lot of drug users off the street. But I'm not saying to you that I would welcome it, because I wouldn't welcome it. I can just see the positives from it.
He'll take whoever the government decide off the street.
Yeah,
it's like the terrorism.
Do you know what? I think for me, I agree with what you're saying. obviously we have a better understanding of the social problems here than we would do in Thailand, or Philippines, sorry. So yeah, that does kind of obviously alter my decision on whether I think it's good or not. In this country, I just think, like I said before, it wouldn't be a level playing field, and there's a difference, there's a divide in terms of racial divide, economical divide, class divide. I'm not saying there isn't that in the Philippines, but there isn't the racial divide. Yeah, so the people who are going to be are going to be targeted over here, the lower class people over here, are going to be majority of a certain background. Do you know what I mean? So I think that is more so where I see there being an issue than it would be in the Philippines.
Which is fine, but I guess why I ask that, because you seem to be a bit dismissive of the collateral damage, which would be our kids if it was to come here, and I wouldn't be comfortable with the police having the power to use that, and my child being a potential victim.
I don't.
Or even me, like if I'm with a drug dealer, I've got friends, or even someone that
that's it.
smokes weed. Like I could be in a car and I get shot because he smokes weed.
Yeah.
Like
It's mad.
I think it's too, whether here or the Philippines, I don't think it's something that you can, I guess, manage effectively enough to
It doesn't have the right boundaries.
I don't think he's saying that.
What I'm
he
saying,
agrees with it.
one second, what I'm saying, yeah, and I don't want to seem as though I am being dismissive in terms of the casualties of war. I'm just simply saying, if a government are going to make a decision about because essentially it is a purge. It's ridding the country of this disease, how they see it. Yeah. So if they're going to make a decision, obviously they have to take into consideration certain factors, and the fact that there are going to be innocent people would be an issue. Now my thing is, and I've listened to some of the interviews that President Rodrigo's had, yeah,
I like it.
and he's compared himself to the USA. Now basically what he's saying, well, what's the difference between what I'm doing and the USA going into countries and bombing different countries under the name of war, and there are thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent casualties on a daily basis. But the USA are seen, USA and whoever is going to war are seen as the good guys because they're obviously tackling terrorism and blah blah blah.
The difference is that people that don't have any qualifications to decide whether or not someone should live or die or not are deciding whether people live or die.
So when they bomb a
I'm
town,
saying to you, for example, if you've got
Nobody has a qualification.
No, okay, but my point being is that, for example, we trust that our governments do the best thing to. We don't trust it. We don't trust exactly what they say, but the bottom line is that we then trust that it's in our best interest or whatever they're doing. We have to trust that based on the fact that we're in their country.
which is why we.
Yeah, so
I understand what you're saying.
We'll roll with that for the go on.
yeah, let me obviously just kind of put some clarity on it. I'm trying to hold it together as such, and I don't mean to cut you, G. Apologies for that. But basically, just in terms of obviously the USA and stuff like that, Barack Obama obviously came out and basically has tried to urge him to fight his war in the right way. As to what he meant by that, obviously, in terms of this is definitely wrong in his view. And obviously there's human rights lawyers who want to basically hold him accountable in the International Criminal Court for his support of the shoot to kill policy. But basically he's coming out and saying, well, my country, I can do what I want and no one could stop me, basically. And that's what if he does put it into play. But obviously a few days earlier he contradicted himself because he was saying, look, I don't really show support for that. So I think it is still up in the air. But at the moment, it's been put out there that you will not face any sort of criminal liability if you are basically helping and eradicating a problem, really. In terms of England, and just bringing it back here as well, because we are so, and I'm talking generally, pro-weed, and listen, just by the way, guys, we don't support any sort of drug taking or dealing, only drugs for medicinal purposes. But we've got this thing about weed especially, and I think the government or a certain area look at weed as being a problem. If it was to come into play because of weed, would it be totally wrong? And I just want to kind of flip it, if it was to come totally in play just for, I don't know, cocaine, these things that people have an addiction to, where do we
draw a line?
Yeah.
For me, with the weed, sorry, Nick. with the weed issue, yeah, obviously I don't smoke, but I can't imagine, like, don't quote me, but I can't imagine that the amount of people that die from using weed and the amount of people that overdose on cocaine and stuff are anywhere near each other.
Yeah, but probably less the people that die from drinking alcohol.
Right, and this is nothing, that's what I'm getting at. I don't think that weed is such a major problem. It's become a problem because of the people that use weed. That is the issue.
Yeah.
If it was someone with the rich people, this weed wouldn't be an issue. It's an issue because of the low level people that are using it.
I think it's important to remember weed isn't a drug per se. Weed isn't made by man. Weed is an actual plant. So, and I don't smoke, so I'm not supporting it for that reason. But I think it's important to distinguish. Yes, there are kind of improved forms. I know the name, but skunk and all them things there, which cause mental health issues and I guess create a drain on the society because you've then got to look after people and pay for people that you wouldn't have to normally, but it isn't a normal drug. I think my issue with is that I think my issue with the whole thing is that and why I kind of brought it up is because they label what a drug is and they tell us what is a drug. So because they say what a drug is, we then believe it and then we would kill this person because they're taking what they've called a drug. So then later on, if they say that all black people are criminals, are they going to shoot all black people and make it legal? Are they going to shoot all tall people because they can do that? Things like, well, but no, there are no boundaries. I know it sounds like I'm going off, but
makes sense.
It isn't manageable.
That's why I don't have terrorist act. So just saying that.
Let me just throw out a few comments as well. Sorry, guys. I think I've lost a few as well. So apologies if I can get back to those. Right, Ashley said, why can't they just take them to court and trial them? Why carnage and random killing sprees in the streets?
Time and money. Time and money.
Yeah, that's it.
And listen,
you got 12,000 people.
What more deterrent could there be than the threat of being killed?
There's 6,000 of them handing themselves in up with the fear. That's a lot of people.
Do you know, in some, because after last week's show, we were saying that the justice system should be harsher. So I think in some ways you have to respect what this man's doing, but I think maybe it's a bit too harsh for my liking.
Is that the thing on the hostages? See, like anyone that's being kidnapped and kept hostage, and when they ask for ransom, he's saying no, we're not paying none of that no more. We'll just blow up. Like we see boats on the water. We've told the military blow them up. Like neighboring countries and everything. If there's suspected kidnapping and hostages, you just blow everyone up. Collateral damage. That way we don't pay no ransom.
You know, but the thing is, I do agree with not negotiating with terrorism. I do agree. I get that.
I can't blow it up.
But you know, it is. It's more like okay, whatever you come at me with, I'm just going to come at you with a nuclear option.
You know what he told the people that are getting kidnapped? He said, if you don't want to be collateral damage, just don't get kidnapped.
I'm be mad at that. No, you can't be mad. You can't be mad.
We're laughing. I'm laughing at how blasé that just comes across. Like, wow, there is no
reason I like it. It's just straight.
But this is what I'm saying. I think
you like him because he's not ruling here. You wouldn't like him so much then.
Like, he's shouting out all the dodgy judges and everything, like blowing them all up, and they put their name on blast.
This is my thing. Like I said, it's unorthodox, and it's not the conventional way of doing things. But I can honestly see his approach getting the desired results. And I'm talking about not necessarily right now. I'm talking about years down the line.
I totally agree with that. That's what I said earlier. Like, it will rid people of the drugs. It will take. It might do it for a certain period. It might come back up again, and that's why they've come back to it probably. But for some sustained period, it will get rid of drug use.
Any form of genocide or any form where you're taking out big masses of people, you can't be right, man.
I'm not telling you it's right. I'm not telling you it's right. But you can't say it's not genocide, dude.
But you say that, but this guy's been voted into power. Like, this isn't some guy that's just turned up and is doing this shit. He's been voted into power, so the people of the country must realise this is a massive problem, and they want this dealt with.
That would be interesting to find out whether that was part of his. I don't know. If I'm honest, I don't really know how long he's been in power. I'm not interested to know that.
June last year, I think.
Oh, so I would that. Yeah, what I was going to say is it would be interesting to
You
know.
came in straight away.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know if that was part of his political campaign to get into power.
Did they vote in Hitler? Just out of curiosity, I don't know if they did.
So say again?
Did they vote in Hitler? Just out of curiosity, I don't know.
I'd like to think we're in a different time. And
my point being is that
Their similarities have been made between them, though.
There are many people that are worse than Hitler, man.
People. That's what I'm saying. People could the drug dealers or what you're supposed to equivalent to Jews. It's just not. You shouldn't do it, man. It's ridiculous. They shouldn't kill no one for nothing that they do, especially for the choices. Especially like at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. Everyone's on drug dealers. You just be taking drugs. You decide to take drugs. If you don't want to take drugs, take the drugs, innit? And
I can understand what you're saying in regards to your point of view in regards to whether he should be doing that, but I don't think you can compare him and what he's doing to Hitler.
Why not? It's cleansing on a mass degree of people.
It's not at the same level.
Cleansing on a mass degree.
Yes, 12,000
that thing talk about what Hitler was doing.
Yeah, reasoning. That's the
It's not reasoning. That's my point. It was wrong. This is my problem.
Both of them are wrong.
I think what it seems like you're saying, and Jeffrey, you'll have to obviously correct me if I'm wrong, that the action is wrong.
Yes, the action. Yes.
Right. So you're talking about the action in that term and this term. Fair enough, but the thought process and the reasoning behind it is two totally different places.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, I'm talking about the action, and the fact is that anything that involves you killing off your people that have your own people over a mass scale or people, I just think it's wrong.
So then,
I don't think anyone disagrees with you.
Can I throw the question out there then? So is this guy worse than a Bush or a Blair or someone? So hold on. Can I just say this guy is cleansing? Is doing this to make his own country better. Yeah. Whereas Bush and Blair's and all the other
Money
is for oil, money, weapons of mass destruction that don't exist. Like
There's no comparison for me.
No, I don't think there's a comparison.
So you think that?
I think he's better than those guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Comfortably.
And he's not hiding behind anything like that. He's very open about what he's trying to do and who he's
why
trying
he's
to get
doing
rid of.
Okay.
At least you know you stand with those kind of people, man.
Right. It's I think just going back as well. The stream is a little bit behind as well, so apologies, guys. But I think Melinda has said yes, Nick, to when you was obviously making a point about what drugs are and how we're told what drugs are. She just said, where do you draw the line? Alcohol, tobacco. What about the tax drugs? Are they okay? It's crazy. But Ashley has said, are the civilians that are murdered in the crossfire compensated? They're dead. The family.
I very much doubt it.
Ashley.
For real. Now shout out to Ashley.
Well, a quick question. Ask Ashley, so a compensation, what do you think it'd make it okay? Just out of curiosity.
I doubt very much that the government are going to.
It doesn't.
No, but I'm just wondering, like, what? So if let's just say if you kill someone, would it be okay if they gave him compensation? Just do you not? I don't.
No, not at all.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just checking. So I don't know. You guys.
Well, maybe they would accept the compensation, but it's still not going to make anything right, is it? It's still not going to.
Let me just put a question out to you guys, just before we've got to start wrapping up soon as well, and we're going to get everyone's final thoughts. What would you do if, let's just say that you was Filipino living in the Philippines and your child, your family member was caught in a crossfire? What would your actions kind of be? Is it just grin and bear it, accept it?
What can you do?
Look for your compensation and move on?
Find out what?
Sorry?
What dead?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. Other than be mad.
Someone's gonna die then.
Yeah, there's like I'm not going to pretend.
I'm thinking about the repercussions in terms of.
I'm not going to pretend that because I'm saying, I can see his I can understand his methods. That if I was in this position, it would be any different. Because if I was in that position and it was my child, my family that died, I'd be fuming. I'd be wanting revenge. I'm looking to kill anybody in association with that government. Simple.
All right, and let me just go to a comment. And again, I'm taking the conversation maybe slightly to the left.
That's all right.
But Carlene's actually said, weed is a medication to many. My dad had kidney failure and he never took nothing the doctors gave him. He lived for 11 years on his weed. I'm sure he had a bit more than that as well. And I only lost him last year. My dad always said, what the doctor gives you kills you. Right. I'm just going to say quickly, you guys will clap. I'm not too sure. I can't promote that you shouldn't listen to doctors, etc. Cool, take what you're taking if you believe in it. But I don't know about that.
I'm not saying you shouldn't, but there are studies to show that certain medications are given to control the population. That's fact.
I agree with that. I agree. I think Western medication we weren't designed to take Western medication. We weren't. Like, I think if you look into like the holistic approach that people take in terms of medicine, you'll find that there's a lot of people who have ridded themselves of disease by simply sticking to natural and natural diet or a natural herb, whatever it may be. But obviously we know the reason behind this. It doesn't benefit the pharmaceutical companies, it doesn't benefit the government in order for people to go that way. So once again, there are casualties of war because these pharmaceutical companies are lining their pockets and they know that people are going to die based on the stuff that they're giving them.
Totally agree.
Rest in peace, Dr. Sebi.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, guys, we need to obviously start wrapping this one up. I'm going to get your final thoughts in terms of, I don't know, are we just calling this genocide? Are we saying...
Can I say, this is not genocide, guys. This is not genocide. It's not a cleansing of a people. This is cleansing of a particular...
But people are judged.
It's people, bro.
No.
1,000 people per month. This is crazy.
I
As much as I can understand it, I don't agree with it. I can understand it. It's still genocide.
Yeah. I would like say it's genocide. I'm not necessarily saying this guy's right for doing this and we're. I'm simply saying I can understand his method. So, but for me, I wouldn't personally say it's genocide.
Nick, what's your thoughts on this? Just to kind of wrap things up as well.
I think I've kind of said it. I just think you're on very dangerous ground if you allow civilians to kill other civilians for suspected drug use or drug selling. Like, basically like to anything. I think it creates a lawless society, and you can't really go on from that. And you shouldn't let another man dictate your morals. And law is, and death to me is wrong. And as I said last week, I don't think another man should have the power to end another man's life for no reason or for any reason. Yeah.
Can I just
doesn't affect you directly?
Can I just respond to that?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're wrong.
Okay.
But just being devil's advocate. So then, like the society we live in, we accept war. We accept our governments going to war based on the protection of our society.
We don't have a choice.
That's it. I have no choice in it. We just have to take out and take it. That's the truth.
Yeah, but okay, all right, fair enough. But then, what is the difference between because if you look at what's happening where England, Great Britain, United States go into countries and they kill on a mass scale, much more than the numbers that we're talking about. Yeah. What? Like,
I don't
this
think
is not any different.
I don't think anyone around this table is saying to you that what England, America, Russia, and all those countries do is right. Yeah, we know that it's wrong. The difference being right now, we're just having an opinion. If that came into force in this country, guess what? We would just have to accept it as usual. We can't do nothing. We just have to accept it.
Okay.
The same way with war. We have no choice in the matter.
Gotta vote.
They go to war and we don't want them to go to war, but they still go.
Yeah.
Well, Melinda has said we do have a choice. The majority choose to ignore what is happening overseas. A couple more that I want to touch on as well. Michelle has just said the guy in the hat. I agree.
Why does everybody say the guy in the hat? My name's Darren.
Hey, man is mad.
Don't you know this by now?
Man is mad.
I'm here every week.
My name is Darren.
At the beginning of the show, it's Darren, Mr. D, whatever you want to call me.
Your name's Hatman.
Well, you can't say whatever you want to call you. Like,
for real.
Right. Ashley said they may as well just let them die of drug-related problems.
Yeah, peace.
It's true, but the drug dealers are not going to die. That's the problem, innit?
Yeah.
They don't even take drugs, most of the
Daniel was saying just trying to get the population down.
That's the truth.
That's another thing you can.
This is the problem. They've got so many people.
But it
doesn't
solves
really
a number of problems, and I think that's it. If you get the population down, then they can do more for the people that are there and the people that they seem as good citizens. So it does solve a number of problems.
Layla has said they give us drugs that are not fit for purpose, but it's okay to take those. They are legal bullshit. Yeah, I can say shit. Bullshit.
Just on,
Right, Michelle's just put an apology out to Darren. I didn't know your name. I wasn't here in the beginning. LOL. Michelle, you've been here week after week. No, I'm not having that. Sorry, Nick.
Just on what Layla said, there was a study the other day. I was watching it. I can't remember what the drug was to cure, but basically they were showing that there's certain drugs that have never been tested. Oh, I'm lying. They were tested once in 1947.
Yeah, I know you're talking
Yeah, sorry, 1927, and when they tested it, everyone died. That was and that was on animals or monkeys or something.
Immunizations.
Yeah, it was
immunizations.
That's it.
certain vaccine. Yeah.
The mercury in it. Yeah.
Yeah, so certain vaccine had mercury in it, and they've tested it once 80 years ago. It didn't work, but they continue to
use it now.
Treat it on us. So be careful what immunisations you give to your kids.
The kids are weak.
And what medications
you give immunizations to kids, they take it.
Leno's put here, it was hepatitis. I don't know if that.
No.
It's not.
No, she's talking about something else.
And Ashley's put
That's
crocodile.
the
Into, I'm imagining you said the animal was tested on. I don't know.
I don't know what I know.
Might just be random.
It wasn't. I think she's talking about the Tuskegee thing, which that's another. That's for syphilis.
Okay.
That's another study that they've done on black people to control the black population. But we'll go on.
All right, G, wrap it up for us, man. What's your final thoughts on this?
Final thoughts is that, President, I understand your vision, but you're trusting way too much in people, and you just shouldn't. It's over. And it just reminds me why I'm going to miss Obama. So I have to shout him out, man. He's going. I had to shout him out. So, but yeah.
Rates.
Obama killed her. Let's not.
True that.
The government killed.
He's part of it. He makes decisions.
Does he?
I'm
not really like
Hey, leave Obama alone. Obama care. End of discussion. I'm not having this conversation.
What was you going to say? Obama, we can't blame Obama, and then we can blame.
I'm saying, you can't omit Obama from blame, but then want to blame Bush.
Listen, the fact of the matter is the man's hands were tied. You know,
so I can Bush's hands on that.
Yeah, it's real.
You can't say like that.
We have to be honest.
You can't do that.
You have to be straight.
I love Obama.
I don't care what you lot say. Obama was a great president. Big it up Michelle as well.
No one's not saying listen.
I'm saying, listen. I'm not blaming him for nothing.
Listen, I don't want to get into another show, but is the colour of his skin, affecting your judgment?
Listen, no, it's because he was a good president. It's as simple as that.
That wasn't the question.
But the fact of the matter is, it's a bonus. It gives our kids something to look up to. So therefore,
listen, we're going to go in a totally different direction.
I don't care, man.
Let me get your final thoughts.
I don't agree with the execution of what the president is trying to do, but I understand. But I understand his method. I understand the full process. Thank you, Darren. I understand the full process behind what he's trying to do and what his end goal is. But the way that you go about it and the innocent civilians that are caught up in this is just not acceptable.
It's kind of like when you break up with a girl, yeah?
Whoa! Please, I don't know.
I would hear this.
Man said it's kind of like when you break up with a girl.
It's kind of like,
let's go.
When you break up with a girl, you've met her kids and her family and stuff, and she's still on you. So you've got to be harsh to kind of cut her off, and the kids kind of just get hurt part of the process, yeah? But you almost have to do it that way in order for you both to move on, and that's what he's.
That's a great example. I'm sorry.
Bring it back.
Brought it back still. We brought it back.
Dwayne.
Yeah, I think I'll probably echo what everyone is saying. I understand the full process. I can probably see it being positive in the future and how it would help the country. I just don't agree with the methods. I'd like to say them cufflinks rates where.
Nah, so shivering over here for a minute. Those cufflinks, man.
Alright, well listen, we've got the... Oh, sorry. sorry, man in the hat. How embarrassing. You forgot his name, I just forgot him totally. Right, Darren. What, you ain't got nothing to say now?
What I would say is kind of similar to what Rake said in terms of I understand the full process. I understand that it's going to divide people. But what I would say is, I don't see it any different to what other governments are doing. And also, it's kind of different in terms of the fact that if you don't take drugs, then you won't be killed. So you do kind of have a choice.
I can't say that.
You can.
No, you can't.
No, because we don't know who
I could knock at your door and say, hey, bang, you've got 2 drugs in your pocket.
And then he was a drug dealer.
Yeah, but the thing
That's
is,
the problem. There's no management or boundaries. Right? So, you know what? Cool.
Yeah, let me finish, please. Yeah, I'm not saying that along the way there aren't going to be some, like I said, innocent casualties, where people have kind of framed people, like Jeffrey just said. However, generally, on a wider scale, I think the people that will be killed will be people who have a relation to drugs. Now, if you are not a drug dealer, yeah, then you're likely not to get killed. So it's different. You do have a choice. So I don't think there can be any comparisons to other leaders in terms of what they're doing. But at the end of the day, I would say in regards to our society, there's nothing wrong with weed. If it's for medicinal purposes, done.
Alright, cool. If I missed anyone out.
No, but wait. So one thing, real quick though. You can't, just because they say it's drugs doesn't mean that person's a bad person. Because it stresses me out. It stresses me out because it's like you can't say people are bad people because they take drugs or because they're drunk.
I didn't say they're bad people.
So why should they get killed?
Hold on.
Why should they get killed?
I didn't say they're bad people, for one. Yeah, and two, I'm simply saying if a government has brought a legislation, a law into place, which is simply saying, if you take drugs or if you're a drug dealer, you are likely to be either brought to prison or killed if you don't stop doing it. You have the option to stop doing it.
So if they said, yeah, if you're aware of anyone that takes drugs, you should kill them, would you do it?
I ain't gonna lie, we done
But they didn't say, they haven't said that.
Alright, cool. Alright, we're done. Let's stop the conversation.
We didn't get your wrap up.
My wrap up is just echoing what everyone else is saying. Listen, I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's watched. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, man.
We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your views.
So send in topics if you don't know anything through the week that's trending or you got anything that you want to say.
They can.
Like you can share on the Facebook now because the Facebook page is now open, so you can
About to get
share.
angry.
John Cena's about to get angry. His head's sweating.
Definitely take advantage of the fact we've opened it up now, so you can post your own things on there, and it will go onto the Facebook.
And thank you for the regulars that are here every single week. Listen, we talk about you during the week. Like honestly, thank you.
Listen, next topic is bound to be lively, so tune in.
Yeah, next topic is going to start in about the next 10 minutes. Join us again, guys. We will get into that as and when we get there. The next topic is dating standards.
There you go.
Took it right out of my mouth.
Saved him. Lifeboat.
Right, guys. Thank you. God bless. Good night. Bye.
Till 15 minutes.